My need to engage in homicidal behavior on a massive scale cannot be corrected, but I have no other way to fulfill my needs. No need to talk.
Talk about what, Patrick?
It's over, Evelyn. It's all over.
Senator Chris Van Hollen successfully made his way down to El Salvador to find Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a man found by two judges to be a gang member with MS-13, who apparently now, in the photos emerging from this trip, has gang tattoos on his hand. And we got the report where his wife said he mercilessly beat her. Anyway, sorry. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen went down there and he got his photo op. And I gotta tell you, it was a brilliant move for this single individual Democrat who is sacrificing the entirety of his party for a photo op. This is backfiring beautifully on the Democrats, as we're learning now that Kilmar Garcia is on some death camp torture prison. He looks fat and happy. And that's not a disrespectful thing to say. Fat and happy is a reference to he looking good. He's looking good. Here he is hanging out with the senator who's leaning in, putting his hand down, saying, we're going to get you home, despite the fact Donald Trump already got him home. But here's the deal. While Democrats are lining up and singing the praises of Senator Chris Van Hollen for succeeding, they find themselves on the back end of an 80-20 issue. Once again, the American people overwhelmingly do not want illegal immigrants in this country, let alone MS-13 gang members, criminals, wife beaters, and this guy got deported. Now, I do think there is a fair concern over how we handle due process in these circumstances. J.D. Vance laid it out like, we got 20 million illegal immigrants, and due process is basically like you bring them in, a judge says yes or no, and we don't have the resources for jury trials in every single circumstance. Democrats are arguing this dude did not get proven, we've never proven he committed a crime. Let me just lay it out like this. We got these photos. We'll lay them up, show them all to you. But again, for the 800th time, he was here illegally. Democrats are lying. The judge said he was found with MS-13 gang members. He was hanging out with them. They identified him as one of their members. He was wearing gang clothes. Apparently, he had tattoos as well. An informant said his name is Chele and he is a Chiqueo, which means he's a probationary member. But here's the crazy thing. This morning on Fox, they brought in a DA who has prosecuted around 70 cases who said, a Chiqueo isn't a full-fledged member, okay? He's basically an associate of the gang. You know, you're going to work with them in some capacity, but you are basically being lined up to join, which means you got to kill somebody. You got to kill somebody. That's how you get in the gang. By deporting this man who was a Chiqueo, Trump may have saved a life. We already know about the story of Patty Marin. She went on at the White House and she talked about this. Her daughter was brutally murdered. Trump may have saved a life in this regard. Now, by all means, you guys want to get upset over an administrative error. I know the libertarians upset. Let's have that conversation. But this guy was illegally in the country, admitted to being illegally in the country, was denied asylum, and his temporary withholding of deportation only relevant so long as the circumstances in the home country remain unchanged. El Salvador changed. Trump can deport him. The only mistake they made was an interview with USCIS to determine that the circumstances of his home country had changed, but we all know that it did. Okay, let's not have any administrative errors ever again. But here's the dude clearly meeting with Senator and ain't no problem. So he's not in a torture death camp, or he's not being tortured. He's got his baseball cap on. And in the same time, Democrats are jumping up and down, cheering for an issue that they are losing on. But let's break this down. Senator Chris Van Hollen may have actually broke the law, and I believe he should be criminally charged. That's just me. You can't have Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro going to jail and Senator Chris Van Hollen violating the Logan Act, which has never really been, I think it's been used twice. Still, he admits it. He outright admits his intention was to violate the Logan Act. Take a look at this. On X, he says, I said my main goal of this trip was to meet with Kilmar. Tonight, I had that chance. I have called his wife, Jennifer, to pass along his message of love. I look forward to providing a full update upon my return. Now, let me just, I've shown you this a million times, but here is his wife writing that he beats her and punches her. Bill Malugan. I mean, again, Democrats are behind this guy. I don't get it. Guys, did you know that there are still hostages being held by Hamas that are American citizens? Some people say, well, they're dual citizens. Okay, fine. They still have more claim to being saved by America than a gang member, illegal immigrant who beats his wife. Take a look at this. Abrego Garcia's wife in 2021 alleges he's a repeat wife beater. She said she's afraid to be close to them. Now, since then, she said that they've worked things out. Yeah, I don't know that I believe that. Battered wife syndrome, it's called. This woman's being threatened and beaten by a guy, and then he's in MS-13, or at least a probationary member, in which case they could do something to her. They could mess her up. So she just says, please don't hurt me and my kids. Now she's fundraised $200,000. Now she got a smile on her face. But look at this. In her own handwriting, she alleges Abrego Garcia punched and scratched her eye, leaving her bleeding. He punched her, hit her with a work boot, hit her in the eye, giving her a black eye. Here's the document right here, plain as day. She wrote this up in Maryland. This is who they're fighting for. Let's take a look at the things that Senator Chris Van Hollen has said about this. I do want to make sure I pull up the Nayib Bukele tweet first. He says, Kilmar Abrego Garcia miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in the tropical paradise of El Salvador. Take a look at this. Okay, I'm sure the argument is going to be that they pulled him out of the prison, gave him some nice clothes, and said, why don't you have this meeting? Let me show you this. This is what's really funny. Here's where the meeting backfires, all right? A couple ways. One, we can see he ain't in no death camp. And then you get this. Let me zoom in right here. Many people are pointing out he has what appears to be a weed, a marijuana leaf, a smiley face, a cross, and some other symbol on his fingers. There are many individuals, okay, that are saying that is MS-13 gang tattoos. Those on his hand, it's how MS-13 does their tattoos. Now, here's the thing. MS-13 has apparently been moving away from tattoos because they get you busted. And so these look a bit faded. I don't know their gang tattoos, but once again, people are saying there are some people who say, I believe it was the prosecutor was on Fox was saying they're moving away from those tattoos, but it could have been him. I'm not sure. It might have been Tom Homan, but someone was saying like, those are gang tattoos. Those are MS-13 gang tattoos. So it's like, here's a guy you just look at. He was arrested with MS-13. An informant said he was with MS-13. The gang, the gang information, unit or whatever is like, this guy's got gang tattoos and was wearing gang clothes. And here we go. Van Hollen takes these photos and now people are saying, yup, that's gang tattoos. It's you know what I think? I think Van Hollen didn't actually expect to get the meeting. I thought he was going to bluster it up. He got the meeting. The dude's okay. He appears to be, there's even more evidence now he's MS-13 or wants to be, like probationary. I think that's an important distinction. This prosecutor said Chikeo means he got to kill somebody to get full status, but he's an affiliate of the gang. Like he hangs out, he works with them. He was accused of human trafficking for them. But they called him 1 degree below homeboy. Homeboy is when you're like at the base level, you killed somebody, you're made, you know what I mean? Look at this. Chris Van Hollen says, Abrego Garcia was illegally abducted by the Trump administration. That's a lie. By their own admission, wrongly deported to El Salvador. He should have to spend another second away from his family. I'm flying to El Salvador tomorrow morning to check on his condition and discuss his return. Bang. Right there. There's more. He says, keep in mind what he just said. The Trump admin can lie all they want, but the court said they failed to show he was part of MS-13. Not correct. Not correct. 2 judges said he was MS-13. However, recently, there was a petition made by Abrego Garcia's lawyer, which made an argument the judge took at face value. The argument is not the judge's determination. And the Democrats are fucking lying. They're lying, man. They're saying, well, look, the judge said they only saw him wearing a Bulls hat, and therefore he's a member of MS-13. Not true. That's what his lawyer claimed to win an argument, and an activist judge rolled with it without checking the evidence. Because the other judges said he was arrested with MS-13. He's got MS-13 tattoos and clothing. He was identified as being an MS-13, literally hanging out with MS-13, okay? That's the evidence. And he's an illegal immigrant. He's an admitted illegal immigrant. He was denied asylum. Absolutely insane. Chris Van Hollen says, I just met with Vice President of El Salvador as we fight for the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Okay, this is a violation of the Logan Act, and he should get arrested and charged. The Logan Act says unauthorized individuals cannot conduct foreign policy on behalf of the United States, and senators can't do that. Donald Trump handles foreign policy. The executive branch does, and the people he authorizes are ambassadors or otherwise. He went down there in defiance. Now, look, if a senator or a member of Congress went and met with a world leader, we'd say, okay, whatever, right? What are they doing? He went down in direct countenance to the Trump foreign policy. Donald Trump says, here's what we're doing. He goes down. He defies U.S. foreign policy. That's a violation of the Logan Act. I believe this guy should be charged. Now, let's talk about how this is blowing up. I'm going to show you the polls, my friends. Take a look at this. Here's a nice little image of his El Salvador press conference. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Here he is standing at his, little microphone. I wonder if I have the, there it is. Benny Johnson's got it. Democrat Senator Chris Van Hollen's press conference in El Salvador is just depressing. They zoomed in. See how they zoomed in so you can't see? Why did they do that? Because if you showed the actual room being completely empty, it's really embarrassing. This has got to be one of the most embarrassing things that I've seen, to be completely honest. But let's roll, baby. Of course, got the Post Millennial writing about it. NBC News, MSNBC says, Senator Van Hollen outsmarted Trump today, helping Abrego Garcia get a step closer to justice. These people are nuts. But I'll take it. Okay. Helping him. Okay, it's a violation of the Logan Act. Violation of the lock him up. Reuters says U.S. Senator Van Hollen meets with wrongly deported man in El Salvador. They really want to play this game, don't they? Take a look at this, the Maryland man hoax. Maryland man deported to El Salvador. Maryland man is held. Maryland man defies conservatives. Maryland man. It's called the Maryland man hoax. Trump sent this man home. He's a citizen of El Salvador. He's staying in El Salvador. He ain't coming back. He is not a Maryland man. He's barely only spent, a few years in Maryland? These people are evil. Now, David Hogg, here we go, Democrats. Sing to the high heavens. Let me show you where this blows up in their faces. David Hogg says, this is exactly what we need more of. We have to show people we're fighting back and are here to protect the American people from Trump's reckless agenda. Okay, well, Abrego Garcia ain't no American people. David Hogg said, we got a lot of work to do. We get it. He's praising Chris Van Hollen again. You got Adam Parkomenko. This is the kind of ish we want to see from every single Democrat. I agree. Please keep fighting for gang members who beat their wives. This is what fighting for when you're out of power looks like, says Grayson Kisker. Indeed. Robert Garcia says, incredible and so important. We must demand his release. He must be freed. Okay. Here's Gallup on immigration. Think about how immigrants, that is people who come from other countries, in your view, should immigration, let me pause. This is not illegal immigration. The question is, should immigration in general be kept at its present level, increased or decreased? 55% say decrease. And that was a year ago. But let's carry on. In January of this year, 66% of Americans support deporting immigrants who are in the country illegally. 66. But wait, there's more. CNN's Harry Enton finds most voters want all illegal immigrants deported. Americans like where we're going under Trump. Indeed.
This is an area.
Let's try this again.
This is an area where Donald Trump wants to focus, because the bottom line is this is an area in which the American people, at least the bare majority of them, seem to like what he's doing.
And you've seen,
wow.
And you've shown the impact on how people feel about his handling of the economy and what he's been doing. So let's stay here with
Trump's net approval in April of 2017, in his same time, first term, -12. Today, +1. And they point out, on the economy, Trump's underwater right now. People are freaking out. But listen to this.
Compare where he is on immigration to where Biden was. We know that this was why he leaned into immigration so much.
Yes, this is a big reason why. So take a look here. This is on immigration. What track are we on? The right track or the wrong track? Look in December. Look at the percentage who said we were on the wrong track. 62% of Americans when Joe Biden was in office, compared to just 14% who said that we were on the right track. Flash forward to April. Well, hello. 45% say we're on the right track compared to 42% who say we're on the wrong track. So in a big switcheroo from where we were back in January, the plurality of Americans say that the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy. Back in December when Joe Biden was president, the vast majority said that we were on the wrong track. Again, this points out that on the whole, Americans like where we're going on immigration policy under Donald Trump, which is very different from where we were under Joe Biden.
And this Abrego Garcia thing's been going on for a while, and this story's from yesterday, okay? CNN came out in the middle of this whole Abrego Garcia thing. Democrats are getting on the wrong side of this. They should not be fighting for the worst of the worst. This is crazy.
And comparing the kind of then and now and the progression over time, what about on the specific issue of deportations? I mean, compare maybe today Trump to first-term Trump.
Yeah, this, I think, is the big change. You know, we were talking about changes in policy and how Americans want policy to be carried out. Deport all undocumented immigrants. Voters favoring the government trying to deport all 11 million of them. Back in 2016, just 38% of voters wanted the government to try to deport all 11 million undocumented immigrants. Compared to where we are in 2025, 56%, the majority. The American people have come a long way on this issue, much closer to Donald Trump, and I think that's a big part of the reason why Americans are increasingly saying the country is on the right track when it comes to immigration policy.
We got it. You know, they always patter at the end of these statements. Why are you doing that? You just end your sentence. Americans like what Trump is doing. That explains it. It gets better. It gets better. So look at this one. I love this. Donald Trump's approval rating over immigration is tumbling. Really? This story is from today. I'm going to say this again. Really? You may be thinking, but wait, Tim, I thought you said that things were going good for Trump. Let me show you the story. I love the headline. They say President Donald Trump's net approval on handling immigration has fallen drastically in the space of a few weeks, according to the polls. April Echelon Insights survey of 1,000 voters found 54% approve of Trump's action on immigration. Wait. You mean to tell me most people like what he's doing, but you said it's bad? Okay, here's why. A previous poll found he was at 57%. So there's been some, let's just say, disdain a little bit. So it's tumbling. Oh, it's down a little bit? Let me show you this. They say, Trump vowed to carry the largest mass deportation. We get it. They go on to mention Kilmar Abrego Garcia, which does explain why Democrats largely want to get on this issue. Here's the best part. The poll found that 70% of respondents said they are either somewhat or very concerned about immigration, tied with tariffs. However, as noted by Peter Hamby of Puck News, which partners with Echelon for its monthly polling, voters are becoming less focused on immigration since Trump entered office. In February's survey, immigration ranked as the second most important issue facing the country. In April's poll, it was fourth. You know why? Because Trump has shut down the border crossings. The reason why people are largely saying we don't really care all that much anymore is because Trump won on the issue. He shut down the illegal border crossings almost completely, like 90%. Here's the best part. In his analysis of April's poll results, Hamby said a majority of voters, quote, aren't reading SCOTUS blog or following the legal intricacies of the Garcia case, and therefore still largely support Trump's immigration plans. Now, I got no problem admitting that he's gone down a couple points, but my point is this. Among the people who are paying attention to what's going on, Democrats are going to be losing on this one. The majority of people right now, as it is polled in both Echelon and CNN, want all illegal immigrants deported. Every single one. Every single one. Democrats have put themselves in an issue and no one cares. Now, it could be this. I'll give Democrats a little bit. The strategy may be that they need to generate attention, and that's why they're doing this. They are basically sending him down there, mass tweeting, so that people start paying attention to immigration again. That is the stupidest thing you can do. And let me just bring this one home. If most people want all illegal immigrants deported, if most people are concerned about violent crime, Pew Research found most Americans are concerned about illegal immigrant violent crime. Democrats putting a spotlight on the issue is just sabotaging themselves. Because Americans aren't going to look at this and be like, I'm really happy that they're going and trying to get an MS-13 gang member who beats his wife back. And you can't escape that narrative. The corporate press is lying. We call it the Maryland man hoax. That's why. So the important thing is, all they have is lies. And lies can be effective. But lies debunked destroy your credibility. So once again, as our liberal friends say things like, he was legally here, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't at all. 2 courts. It was an immigration court said, MS-13 gang member, bond denied, send him home. He appeals. They say, MS-13 gang member, bond denied. And he goes, but wait, I'll be killed. And they said, okay, fine. Withholding of deportation status, pending change in the circumstance of your home country. Trump's mistake, and I think it's fair to say it, they should have done the USCIS interview with him where they would have concluded, since Nayib Bukele arrested all the MS-13 gang members, he does not face a threat of violence upon his return home. El Salvador is safe. This would have voided his withholding of deportation, and he's out because he's got 2 orders of deportation already. Or I should say, an order of deportation that has been upheld twice. But Democrats, they want to die on this hill. I say, let them do it. Let them do it. I know that we're a long way away from the midterms, and a month could be an eternity. But this will be brought up once again, and it will be weaponized by the Republicans to win. We'll see how it plays out, my friends. Stay tuned. We got more segments coming up for you. Thanks for hanging out. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast, and we'll see you all in a little bit.